and obviously historically in Dota 2, China has been one of the strongest regions, especially in the, I want to say, first 6-7 years of the game's history.
Yep.
But as of the last couple of years, just haven't really been able to find those like top-tier results as frequently. They've won a tournament here and there, but oh, look at you, nothing to say. Good stuff. Yeah.
Sell out.
I'm excited for this. I think this series is going to be probably pretty close. Both teams have shown very good form, and largely, like the panel talked about, in slightly different fashions. Xtreme Gaming maybe a little bit on the slower, more methodical side, whereas Tidebound are, you know, it's the remnants of Wings that we loved so much at TI6, just playing all sorts of different stuff.
Well, personally.
Well, you probably loved it, except when you were playing them.
True.
So it was a very entertaining. A lot of people have them as their favorite team of all time, and obviously we do have some remnants of that with Bach playing. Obviously, used to be called Faith Beyond. If you were
one of the happiest guys in the scenes as well.
My personal favorite Chinese player, Bach, of course, and then we've got Y as well, back in Wings, and Coach Blink. So still 3 of the guys are active in this team, which is really cool to see. So, yeah, exciting stuff. Last pick Anti-Mage. Are you a fan? Do you think that's fun to watch? Do you think it's a good pick?
I mean, I haven't gotten to cast it in a while, so that part's fun. And we were talking about this the last couple days where we've been seeing the AM ban from here as XinQ trying to steal a rune. He does. And gets some nice cogs bowling action going on as well. I don't know. AM does feel... I haven't seen it in this meta, I guess, too much, so I'm not really sure what to think. And you're the analyst as well, so maybe you should answer your own question, which I'm sure was the entire point of you asking
that was a good question. I think Anti-Mage is one of those heroes that's really fun to watch in moderation.
Yes.
When it's an Anti-Mage meta, people tend to get rather sick of it because of the playstyle that it makes. But when it's like a, you know, it's been picked 2 games this tournament, I think it's nice when it's situationally really good. And this could be one of those games for Ame, but as the panel talked about, it's a little bit volatile. You picked it into Timbersaw, who has a lot of pure damage, so your counterspell isn't going to reduce that damage taken from that.
Yep.
And the physical burst of TA, if you go back some years, TA was actually used as a counterpick to AM, but Dota has obviously developed a lot since then, so it's not that black and white anymore.
Well, what do you think of it in the grand scheme of things in the game itself? Because Tidebound, it looks like their lineup is ultra aggressive, which historically AM is not a big fan of. But looking at the other side, it's not like they have crazy tower push either.
Yeah.
It's not bad, but it's not amazing either.
It might have been part of the consideration here for Xtreme is that they might expect to lose slightly in the early mid portion, but they think they can weather the storm here. I do think that's going to be the name of the game, to be honest. Is just don't get run over. If AM gets to critical mass here, I do believe this is a game that Ame will carry. But yeah, needs to avoid some pitfalls along the way with this. In particular, I think around the 20-minute mark, if Tidebound's lanes have gone well, their mid-game prowess is incredible. And it's going to be tough for Xtreme to take those team fights at that point, in spite of having a hero like Undying and Lesh. I just think you're kind of likely to get overwhelmed by just the amount of damage.
Yeah, I mean, we should mention this AM a lot different than AMs from the past, which have been kind of just AFK farming, because you have this mana thirst facet, which lower the enemy hero gets in mana, the more your damage gets increased, which would theoretically mean you want to fight a little bit more often on the AM. The question is, how fast can you do it? Because you obviously still need to go for the Battle Fury and then maybe a +1 item and start joining fights.
Yeah, generally you're going...
the old days, it was 3 items, right? Minimum.
Yeah, that's true. Generally now you see... So in this tournament, we've seen optional Helm of the Dominator into Battle Fury and then Manta. Just pretty... BF Manta is the standard build. You go back half a year, some players were experimenting with Vanguard Radiance. I don't think that is going to be very popular this tournament, but I do think a game here and there it could work. I would not do that this one. I think you have to make sure you scale that bit faster and get a quicker Manta as well. Against in particular TA, that item is extremely valuable. So yeah, probably nothing special. To me the big question is, does he get Dom or not? The panel was talking about that as a potential way of making the lane against Timbersaw easier, right? Doesn't have it queued up for now.
Yep, not yet. You would think he'd want to get that super fast, but see if he changes his mind. Probably just dependent on how the lane goes. So far, not too shabby as Y is going to be taken out by XXS already at the 3.5-minute mark, so good news for Xtreme starting out.
Silencer is very vulnerable in this lane. If he gets caught in cogs and they put a tombstone, he can't play his way out of it. It's just nothing.
Now, your favorite hero of all time, you happy to see that in this game? Obviously very good against, I think the analyst brought that up, against the Primal Beast.
You mean Clockwerk, of course.
What did I say?
You said your favorite hero, but you didn't specify which one after I said Silencer died.
That's true.
Well,
that's true. That's everybody's favorite hero to die.
Yeah. I love Clockwerk. I think it's always been an entertaining hero to play and watch, so I'm never disappointed to see it brought out. And yeah, the matchups here are pretty good. The heroes that they saw at the time when they picked it were Silencer and Primal and Snap, I think, all three. And they were probably just looking for what position 4 can we pick for XinQ that is a combo breaker. Because they were starting to see the writing on the wall of how Tidebound were structuring their team fight, and they just wanted XinQ to be an interruption of that. And this hero does very well. You isolate and keep Primal Beast contained. You can stop Snapfire from using her ulti at any point in the fight with a hook shot. So I'm on board with it. And so far, so good with that first blood for XXS, of course.
Yeah, absolutely.
Not too shabby.
But despite that, Shiro's still top in the CS so far in this early stages of the game. Has a 5 CS lead over Ame on that AM. And of course, that is a hero that will always be very good at farming, as opposed to AM that just has to get the items before getting to that next level. And mid lane, XM on the Lesh, 29-7 versus the 24-3. Nothing to say. Turn into a little baby.
Should be a slightly Lesh favored lane, I would imagine, unless rotations happen. More pressure onto Shiro, but XinQ is slowed too much to connect the cogs. I was going to say, I just had this realization that perhaps part of the problem, so TA's win rate this tournament isn't that good. I believe it was 33% at the current point in time, so probably like something 3-9, I believe, something like that. No, that wouldn't check out. 3-6. Helm of the Dominator might actually be pretty good against this hero because it's just an additional damage source to break refraction with.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm not sure if the creeps hit hard enough to get through a layer. They probably don't, but I think every 2 attacks might.
Oh, Nothing to Say gets ganked in the mid lane. Help from XinQ, so huge kill for XM, now taking the lead in that mid lane matchup. Can actually push this lane a bit as well and perhaps get some XP lost for the side of Nothing to Say.
XM, probably the player this tournament that's been rating Leshrac the absolute highest. I would imagine that in terms of teams picking Lesh more than once, Xtreme have the earliest Leshrac picks.
XinQ very active on the map. Y will be taking a tumble as XM gets the Arcane Rune as well. So everything looking quite good to start this game for Xtreme. I believe Yatoro today, or was it yesterday, said that he thinks Xtreme is the best team right now, which, I mean, there's only 2 teams that are 3-0, I suppose. So.
Yeah, but what does Yatoro really know about Dota?
Yep. Xnova is going to get gone on. Nothing to Say could really use this kill. The Pulverize will bring the end of Xnova. Planet gets the kill, though.
All right, they get on the board, though. That's good.
Indeed.
Time for Wisdom. Oh, time for Wisdom.
Again, Battery Assault. The bane of Nothing to Say's existence bounces off of the cogs as well as XinQ dominating right now all over the map.
Every single move for him has been successful. That's 4 out of 4 kills he's been involved in. Just very good rotations. And of course, the synergy with Leshrac is apparent. The thing Leshrac wants more than anything is just for heroes to be near him and not able to deal damage. Like, just give him 2 or 3 seconds.
Yeah.
He'll eat up most heroes. And now he's actually going to make a move of his own, perhaps. Thinking about connecting onto Shiro. XinQ, can you make another move happen? Seems rather unlikely. Shiro has good placement here.
This was spotted as well, so not going to be a surprise at all. Keeping his distance is Shiro.
This is very good news for Xtreme, though. The 2K lead, we're talking about how this is a game that Anti-Mage is probably going to do very well in if it goes down the stretch. And if you're winning the early phases, in particular, if you shut down Primal Beast, I think Tidebound's lineup could run into playmaking issues. Your support duo is not initiating. It's both follow-up. Silencer and Snapfire are long-range artillery. So your Primal Beast is your only real playmaker. That means if his game is bad and he's behind on items and can't play aggressively, you can probably just slow the game down as much as you like as Xtreme. And that's all Ame wants. Just get those creeps up.
Yep, Nothing to Say getting slowed. XinQ, though, takes a Scatter Blast. And in fact, Xnova Finds a little snapfire action. Cogs are up. He actually gets to the outside. That's one of the benefits of having the cookie, but Blood Grenade will slow him to a crawl, and this will be an eventual kill for XM, who also bottles the regen. And Ami, in the meantime, was getting gone on by Faith Beyond, but will live through it just barely. XM, this is a very big steal.
Oh, Timber or Primal really need this.
Getting a bit low on mana, but yeah, gets the majority of these.
Regen rune is very good.
Has nothing to say. He gets stuck inside the cogs again. The ult was canceled instantly. XinQ. They get some help from XM with the Diabolic Edict doing a lot of work. Has nothing to say. Trying to get something out of this, but XinQ does fall to planet, but it's going to be at the cost of 2 members of Tidebound, as XM very happy with this exchange overall.
This Lash is going to be a big problem for Tidebound. What an insane start. 5,000 net worth minute 9. He's got Blink already. 9-minute dagger against this lineup. Imagine being TA now. If you're farming in a lane, you could literally just get jumped and killed by Lesh solo. So 28 seconds faster than the record. This is much faster than the average, of course.
What do you think of the Undying Helm?
Yeah, that's what got me thinking about the whole TA thing, right? Because I saw he was buying it on XXS. I think it's really good. Again, the logic is similar. You want to put pressure on the map so that AM just gets space.
There's the Blink Dagger, XM.
Good luck.
Shiro is super dead here. Another kill to the name of the Lesh. Completely dominating. As the stacks will continue from Tidebound, hopefully they can take it for themselves this time. But
yep,
they're going to have to do a better job of protecting it.
This is potentially the makings of a pretty one-sided game one. Because
3K lead at 10 minutes is insane.
That's one thing. I think the margin for error for Nothing to Say is really, really small here. He's going to rush Blink instead of getting something like a Blade Mail against Leshrac. So if you don't get the clean initiations, Lesh is just going to have a free time.
If XinQ is in the area, you're not getting anything off.
Right. I'm actually really surprised. I understand, obviously, as we've talked about, they really need him to initiate, but I think he must get Blade Mail at some point. Maybe he's getting it after the Blink then. But considering the matchups here of both Lesh and Clockwerk really do a lot of damage to themselves when you go in particular the Lesh, you need some way to stop XM from just running rampant.
Yeah, the lead from Xtreme, most of it on the shoulders right now of XM, who has an entire like 2,500 gold lead over Nothing to Say. It's basically an entire Blink Dagger difference.
Yeah.
As Ame comes to the mid lane to finish that one off, getting ever closer.
The classic AM rotation to mid-minute 11 to push. We see it all the time.
Man, what a benefit to be able to pick a hero like AM and then win the early game.
Yeah.
You don't see that very often, not to this degree at least.
Must be nice.
Yeah, pubs are going to suffer throughout the world after this game potentially, but
there's been worse AM patches. This one isn't all that bad.
Maybe in your pubs.
Yeah. Yeah, AM's not a good turbo hero either. Uh-oh, Bot.
XM. Oh, the hook shot just misses, so Faith Beyond able to find the distance now.
Yep.
XinQ, one of the few missteps of the game for him, if maybe the only.
One of the benefits to washing your face is slightly improved eyesight. Of course, might have had something stuck in his right eye there, just barely misjudging distance.
Have to investigate that in the post-game interview. Very important.
Yeah. Wow, you played an amazing Clockwerk today. Did you wash your face?
I wonder how sick he is of that meme. That's his defining moment right now. And luckily for him, the hook shot pretty low cooldown.
Yeah.
And XXS having a completely free game as well. Second in net worth throughout the game so far.
And XinQ still has 100% kill participation. It's 2-1-6, so absolutely every successful move. And just one... I mean, look at the scoreboard. It's just Clock and Lesh killing everyone, and the rest of Xtreme are just farming.
Yeah.
Like, the other 3 heroes combined have been in 1 kill, Undying with the 1, and Bane with 1 assist. Of course, Anti-Mage being 0-0 and 0 would make everyone proud. Of course, somewhere out there, Merlini is hoping that will be the final score of the Anti-Mage, as notoriously, very famously, Merlini won a game on Medusa many, many, many years ago, being 0-0 and 0 at the end of the game. I remember
really
this
impressive.
vividly. One of the most boring records of all time in Dota history, but still a record.
It's not quite as good as the Melk Award or your 0-19 Pudge.
Yeah, I was so close. I'm the closest to get the Melk Award and not succeeding.
Wait, did you win or lose that game?
I believe we won.
Okay.
But I had 19 I could be wrong.
You probably are. Probably lost as well. It's just a very bad game.
I just had a bad game, and it's just mega cope.
5K lead now for Xtreme. This is just trickling upwards in their favor. As we have a smoke from Tidebound. And this is going to be the blink reveal for Nothing to Say. Obviously, the BKB is going to be next, which is desperately needed.
Yeah, so still no Blade Mail then. If I'm Leshrac here, I'm so happy that I'm not facing Blade Mails.
Xnova, he will be the recipient of said blink. Full pulverize, and the trample. Well, he gets the Nightmare off, but Nothing to Say eventually finds the kill. Wait, when you Nightmare, does the trample continue to go off? It should then, right?
While you're sleepwalking?
Yeah.
I think it should, yeah.
XinQ can use this opportunity to try to group up with his team. As Tidebound going to show up to the north. XinQ runs right into Planet. That is a dead Snapfire. Has Nothing to Say. Gets the blink off just in time. Or the TP, rather.
Cool to see XinQ go phase boots here on Clockwerk. It's when you're having a good game on this hero, it's really valuable. It gives some added plays to run this item. You can more easily get out of cogs and get pushbacks if you want. Having the armor against TA is obviously very nice here. And just overall, that little bit faster mobility, it's a luxury you don't always have, but when your early game is this good, you can get away with it. Clockwerk oftentimes falls into this awkward mid-game spot where your hero farms pretty badly, so most of the time you just afford something like Tranquils or even Brown Boots.
Ooh, another mishook shot.
Yeah. Might want to upgrade your phase boots to Boots of Travel if you want to reach that one.
Yep, very true.
Or get an Aether Lens, of course. That's really bad advice. We'll get the D ward.
As the mid lane, another death for Xnova. So that's the one kill that Tidebound have been able to get, which isn't much. But at the very least, now an Ogre Club coming to Nothing to Say. So getting there in terms of the BKB. The problem is you have Fiend's Grip, you have Hook Shot, you still have cancellations through the BKB.
Yeah.
As why you are dead. He's going to pop the global, but dies shortly after. And now XinQ continuing on top of Planet. Nothing to Say with a good onslaught to try to disrupt this. Does so successfully, so it's only the one kill, but really the bigger thing is the cooldown of the global silence now, down and out. And the world is Xtreme's oyster at this point. Can do pretty much whatever they want, it feels like. Is there a power spec for Tidebound that they are waiting for? And it looks like Deso now for Shiro.
I think TA blink, and you probably have to fight. A lot of the time, TA is content to just trade farm. I don't know if this is the game for that. And you have to get some value out of it. Okay, this could be a nice counterplay if NTS could get there.
Yep, the trap is going to slow, but Xnova is on the high ground. Going to get pulverized. By Nothing to Say, the XM does get taken out finally. A huge killing streak put to an end as Tidebound trying to get some more out of it. XinQ, the cover of the trees. Going to potentially reinitiate, but no, we'll back away. Now with that Lesh dead, a lot of your damage is non-existent. Of course, Ame chillin', as AMs tend to do. Has the Yasha Battle Fury, just the recipe away from the Manta. This is quite good timing.
But as you can see there, just those 2 kills, a 2K swing, it's very big to shut down this Lesh even the once. I think if Tidebound can continue to float this 3K disadvantage, say 5 to 10 minutes from now, there will be a moment in time that their team is stronger. So we're going to have this interesting dynamic where we've run the first 15 minutes where Xtreme's Leshrac in particular were so incredibly powerful that Tidebound were struggling to find moves. Now they're reaching a point where Lesh has a little bit of a downswing because he went blink Kaya Sanj. So he is vulnerable here, XM. If you get on top of him with Primal and Timber, he could just get burst and TA. The amount of damage Tidebound drafted, as we talked about, is extremely high for it's just even a hero like Lesh, when farmed, can disappear in the blink of an eye. So you still got to be careful. And then that dynamic changes again when he gets his BKB. So I think the next 10 minutes are going to be really interesting to see if Tidebound can find those moments of opportunity, because you know where Ame is going to be. It's going to be in the jungle.
It's going to take less than 10 minutes for him to get his BKB, though. That's next on the list for XM.
Yeah, they got to find at least one successful move on him within the next 5 to slow it down even further. I think Xtreme will be quite aware of that fact that he should have a target on his back, so they'll probably cover him largely by playing next to Clockwerk and maybe even the Bane somewhat.
Yeah, this will make it harder, though.
Yeah, just give him more lives. That would also be a way to do it. Another of Undying's many benefits. One of the best heroes at Roshan. You keep spawning zombies that Rosh will hit. And, well, if you have Helm of the Dominator, he'll hit that one too.
That's right.
So nobody else is taking any damage. And there is that wonderful shield for XM.
Yeah, and it aligns with the Manta from Ame. And we talked about when the AM would theoretically want to fight. Part of it just depends on how well your team is doing. Like if you're doing this well, you don't feel the need, maybe you have to fight. You have the luxury to join or not join.
Yeah, I think you should just keep farming. They don't, as far as I'm concerned, they're not in a hurry. That Roche kill was really valuable because this was going to, the upcoming couple minutes was going to be the moment that Tidebound could effectively swing the game around. But with this Aegis, there's just a big buffer.
Yep, they're going to smoke S4. So this, if they collide, it's a 4 versus 5 without Ame. He's on the bottom side of the map completely alone.
Yeah.
As the Troll Summoner will spot out Shiro.
Oh.
And XinQ is going to be the one to pop the smoke from Faith Beyond. Gets the rocket, a little bit of vision now. Looks like they still may want to fight as the 20 minutes is upon us, so Tormentor is what both these teams are looking for.
Yeah, if Tidebound don't get anything done here, they're just losing by the minute, right? So AM farming.
Oh, they spot this out. Tormentor actually sniped out. And oh my god, the damage from XM. He's going to be able to kill 2 heroes before they can even react. As nothing to say, jumps into death as well. 3 down in the blink of an eye. Faith Beyond looks to be next. They get the Tormentor, but at what cost?
That's honestly... That is crazy to go for the Tormentor there. Both teams know that they see each other, and yeah, you're going to kill it. You have the burst damage, but you're bringing your team already like semi-low going for it.
And you get a worthless charge. Thing is useless.
Yeah, the silencer one, not really the best when you're not fighting. Then it doesn't really matter that you're gaining more int from kills.
If you got the Snapfire one, it's like, I mean, it still wouldn't be worth it, but at least it feel a little bit better.
Yeah, you can see here, they're already half HP when Lesh goes in, right?
Yeah,
so the Tormentor has already done its job. The 6th man for Xtreme Gaming. And Anti-Mage does show up for this ultimately. Ame will get the bot kill, but really, Ame wasn't even needed. Like, this fight was so free. And you can... I think it's pretty clear that Tidebound feel a bit stressed there, right? When you've brought all 5 heroes up there in a smoke, you're looking for a fight, your smoke gets broken, Xtreme have your number. You feel like if we don't do anything here, we just wasted a full minute while AM was farming. So you're kind of just YOLOing that play. But
I mean, giving up Roche and Tormentor does feel real bad.
Yeah.
Because the idea, like, I mean, obviously the design of this mechanic is if Roche is going to be taken around that time, it should be a trade for the Tormentor.
Yeah.
But the fact that it spawns at 20 minutes now, making it a little bit awkward potentially.
Some good news here for the TA. Ahead of the average on Pyke. Unfortunately for Shiro, the average for this hero is to go 3 and 6 in games. So beating the average does not mean that it's going to be converted into a win. The hero just hasn't done all that well this tournament. And, well, this game looks currently no different. 7k disadvantage is quite meaningful in this game with the lineups.
Still a minute and a half on the Aegis, and the BKB on the way for XM as well. Basher online for Ame. Gonna go straight for the Abyssal, it seems.
Yeah.
Sometimes we'll see the Butterfly before that, but wants to have the extra lockdown. More ways to destroy Primal Beast, I suppose.
Yeah, I think it's also a tailored response to TA. The way you want to kill TA is you want to burn through Refraction fast so she can't blink. And if you have Abyssal, you can blink Abyssal Manta, and during the Abyssal stun, you're going to hit so many times that she has no disengage except Pyke. And, well, you're Anti-Mage, so you're going to catch up with your secondary blink.
Goodbye, Planet.
Cooldown. Yeah.
Good effort.
Is that the new version of Hello World? Back to the fountain. Shiro thinking about a little bit of pressure here, but
yeah, he's
not
posturing,
in any position to.
It was a bluff. He did not want any of that smoke.
So let's see. BKB completed on Primal. BKB on the way for Bach. Reckon he's gonna go for the Ags after, as we've seen many Timbers do. Perhaps this is a pivoting game though, where the anti-mage is gonna be so big of a problem that you have to go Hex. Primal going Refresher.
Okay.
Does Nothing to Say have the mana for this? This is pretty tight, right? 100 Pulverize. He can... I suppose it'll be okay, but he can't use everything twice. He has to be a little bit careful with his mana management.
Unless the communication's very good. They do have 2 Arcane Boots.
Yeah. They're not always going to be in range to the Blink Primal, though. You'd think. Another attempt from Tidebound, but seems very, very well prepared on the side of Xtreme.
Oh, yeah.
Gonna break it again, XinQ.
He's in Viz as well, but they still find him, have the vision. That's going to be a clean kill for Tidebound and a tier 1 to boot.
All right. Second tower of the game only here, claimed for the side of Tidebound, but it's something.
Zero deaths on XXS. Used to seeing that innate get used several times.
Oh, the BKB Undying. He's ready.
Yeah, he's
getting in
beast.
there.
This is quite the inventory.
It's interesting because most of the games we've seen XXS, the archetype lineups that Xtreme seem to draft are very much centered around XXS being the centerpiece of the team fights. Like, he's just going in, breaking smokes, being in front, tanking damage. And the way they've done it in a lot of their games is by running something like Pipe on him and Lotus. He has the Lotus here, but opts for the BKB over, for example, something like a Pipe. There's a ton of magic damage, but there's even more pure, so probably a good choice. Yeah, I think many players here would have gone Ags. That's why this is a little bit interesting to see.
Ags is the most fun.
Yep, we love fun.
I mean, you are going up against a Timber Saw, though.
Yeah, a BKB. I think this is the best choice. It's just, it stands out to me because XXS does not prioritize this generally in their games, but in this game it's just too good to not grab.
Well, credit to Tidebound, this lead really hasn't grown too much.
That's
Been
true.
hovering around 5-6K for quite a while, keeping things relatively close. But Xtreme still in the driver's seat, especially considering we've barely seen Ame on screen this game.
It's got a kill.
Got the 1 mana void, and now he's joining them for some push.
I think
full Abyssal.
We saw the damage comparison between him and TA a moment ago, and Antimage had 1.9k damage. That was after that Timbersaw kill. So that was probably about half his damage was that kill, right?
Well, he has more than XXS.
That's actually crazy. Undying. Well, Undying laned against TA, so I guess a lot of your damage you don't actually do because of refraction.
Yeah.
I would think.
But it also goes to show that XXS it's been a lot of farming for him too.
Yeah.
Which
Not
typically
often.
you're seeing just action with the Undying, not always the case here.
When's the last time you saw Undying have 10 CS per minute?
Yeah, that's...
He's almost there.
This helm is pretty disgusting.
232. He's 100 CS ahead of the mid-primal as Undying.
If Tidebound could go back, what would they change? Is there any consideration to like lane swap ups?
I think this overall first pick silencer has got a bit exploited here.
Smoke. X-Nova is going to be spotted. Can't get off a spell in time though, as XM getting very aggressive on the outpost. Marking his territory and leaving immediately.
Yeah, it's a good question. Could you have lane swapped in any meaningful fashion? Obviously, Snapfire is a significantly better laner against Clockwerk than Silencer is, but then you have Silencer Timber offlane into Bane AM. I actually think that might have been better to swap the supports. But I don't know how much of a difference it would have made. But I think XinQ's start would have been a little bit slower.
Do you agree with this probability?
I feel like it's a little bit more extreme favorite at this level.
Gonna find X Nova. That's gonna be an easy one. Oh, I say that, but the hook shot actually cancels the pulverize. Now nothing to say, and coming there taking a ton of damage. Ame comes in as well, doing huge amounts of damage with the Mana Void. That is gonna be 1 dead already. Make it 2 for Tidebound as the rest try to exit. You can see Planet gonna get cleaned up, and Innocence as well on the run, but only so far you can run against these heroes. As Ame coming up to finish the job. So 4 for 1 for Xtreme.
Yeah, the thing about this win expectancy being 60-40 is obviously it's not based on pro game data. It's more like an overall assessment of Dota in general, all games being played. We're still not sure exactly how that graph works, like which games are taken into consideration for win expectancy. But whether we entertain the idea that it's all games across all brackets or if it's higher games, in pub games, I think heroes like Anti-Mage don't generally perform as well as they do in pro because people just make more mistakes. But the current game state, I would absolutely favor Xtreme more than 57% before this fight. I mean, obviously now it's going to have shifted quite a bit, but just knowing how good Ame is in this tournament in particular and how good of an AM game it is, I feel like the Radiant is
If it was
ahead.
Spectre, it would be like a 90-10 ratio.
Yeah, there are certain heroes that the win expectancy just loves because, again, that probably also shows more brackets are taken into consideration. Because those heroes are just more fails, more bulletproof in pub game settings. But yeah, with that fight, I'm not sure how much that shifts the graph.
Are you giving this to Ame or XM?
I think probably XM. I just don't see Ame dying.
Well, Ame dropped a Claymore.
If they want a high ground with this, sure, give it to Anti-Mage if he's going to start hitting buildings. I'm not sure if that's realistic that you're sieging within 5 minutes.
He's
but
pretty close to Butterfly.
Yeah, maybe.
I mean, what are they doing against?
Maybe it's go time. You could be right.
But yeah, it's. If Flesh had the other facet, right, then you probably give it to him.
Yeah.
But then if he had the other facet, he wouldn't be dominating.
Probably wouldn't be 11-1 with that one. No.
Yeah.
Ame is. I think you're right. He's going to finish Butterfly, which should take him, give or take, a minute and a half here with his current GPM, and then. Yeah, you could think about high ground if you want to. Still no tier 2s taken for either team.
That's true.
So there is a little bit of a barrier to get through.
I mean, their push in general is pretty pathetic on the Xtreme side.
Yeah.
Talked about Tidebound not having the greatest push, but theirs is certainly better than Xtreme.
TA is pretty good at it. It's like, and you have the Snapfire Shredder to help, but yeah, you're in no position to even think about a tier 2 tower right now as Tidebound. You're playing defense for the foreseeable future.
There's the Butterfly.
Okay, that was not a minute and a half. He might have had something to sell.
His soul.
Yeah.
As the Tormentor.
That's what you sell when you pick AM, I think. Here goes.
No doubt.
Let's see who gets the shard. X Nova.
Oh, it's
AoE
a good
Brain
one.
Sap.
Yeah, not bad.
Doesn't have a level 4 Brain Sap though, so the wave clear a little bit less impressive, but you can choose to skill another point in quarter of a level. What were the alternatives? They could have got Jetpack, which is also a pretty good one.
If XinQ has practice with it, of course.
Yeah.
Takes some practice, you know. It's like getting a driver's license or a pilot's license. It could make it worse for you and those around you.
I don't think you can kill teammates with Jetpack. I feel like you're only ruining it for yourself. Or do you mean that you just play so bad cogs?
Yeah, you just play really poorly as a result.
Maybe you mess up the comms too, like, I'm flying!
Yeah, I think your playing career makes a lot more sense now. As a Lincoln's online for XM. So he is starting to get to critical mass. Shivas looks to be next, which I guess it replaces his boots? No, can't be boots.
I could, actually.
I mean, move speed seems pretty important on that hero.
Yeah, they do have some good lockdown between Clock and Bane, though, so it's not necessarily a requirement when you blink on top of the enemy team to have it. But the Lincoln's is really big, obviously, to try to hard counter Nothing to Say's Primal Beast.
Here is the poke. Roche's banner is placed. They do have little Shredder to try to take care of this, but if you get close enough to do that, you might just get crushed. Okay, he's going to do just that. One more hit to go. Shiro finishes the job. So Roche's banner already out of play.
But they have a next wave coming that Tidebound are not cutting, so Ame can continue here. Almost Shiva's completed as well for XXS. On the
This looks to be,
Undying.
are they just going to give up this lane? I guess they kind of have to.
The problem is if you're giving up this, they're just going to the next one.
Yeah,
So-
which would be top in this case.
So if you do
Or
forfeit
they
a
could go for the
lane
tier 2,
in
right?
order to fight for the next one, it needs to be because you have some sort of timing coming up, and that is Shiro's BKB. The
Right.
call's been made, guys, we can't fight this. Gotta wait for the next one so we get an item. All too often, I feel like we see pro teams just sacrifice a lane to then fight for the next one without making progress in between. Then you might as well have fought for the first one.
Right. I mean, this is
But-
about a 45-second separation, so it's got to be, well, there's the BKB.
Yeah, that is the big difference. So I really agree with forfeiting the first lane to get this item and have a better shot. Because they know that the game is likely decided here if they fail.
Yeah,
So you gotta have everything
16K
available.
lead. This is really ballooned now in favor of Xtreme. Shiva's now online as well for XXS.
Someone's got Axe on clock.
Yeah, he's been working on that for a hot minute. Only 42 seconds on the Aegis, so Xtreme playing this extremely disciplined. Just going to wait it out.
Ame has learned from Ame and will buy Satanic over BKB on his anti-mage, which he was very criticized for in a certain TA game. I believe it was yesterday. But then he shut all the haters up and won anyway in the next game. So. Yeah, he's doubling down on it here. It's interesting because I think this isn't a straightforward choice, in my opinion. Like, Satanic has some major upsides here in terms of being able to break global silence, and obviously if you get opened on by Timber, you can turn around and heal it all back, but it's also very tempting to just buy BKB. There's a reason they have it on the Lesh and the Undying, right? So why wouldn't AM get yet another one to just blink in and be safe during that entire duration? Can't even get pulverized because you can just pop counterspell. But he wants the HP, the turnaround potential.
Well, will X-Nova tank the gank? They see the courier, I believe. Gonna head to the secret shop.
There's a Lotus now, too. Everyone on their side is
They're
so
about
rich.
to pop. There we go. Faith Beyond jumps right in. X-Nova's gonna die right off the bat. Global Silence comes out as well. As the Lesh pops the BKB. Finds a little bit of separation now. They're waiting out that Global Silence. Now they can go back in if they want. The BKBs have already been expended, though, from both sides as Ame cleans up Planet very easily. And now Tidebound looking to potentially retreat, but XXS not going to let that happen. Innocence gets destroyed, and now nothing to say in Shiro on full retreat mode. Ame with the Lincolns applied, gets the bash, going for nothing to say. Getting slowed to a crawl now. Manavoid doing next to nothing, but it might be enough. It's going to be really close. Ame getting super low. Blinks very shortly, trying to 1v1 versus Shiro now, as XM is there to help as well. Shiro's BKB about to run out, but he gets bashed now as Ame finishes the job again. And Ame, he's going to get pulverized. Not taking too much damage, though. Can turn this around onto Y again. That's a dieback for him. Has nothing to say in Planet. Trying to defend with all their hearts, but only so much you can do against Ame and company. Planet drops again. As that is 3 dead for Tidebound without buyback.
And that is why he buys Satanic. He was down to 10%. Turns around on the TA. Wails away at her and heals to full. A great game 1 from Xtreme Gaming. Really impressive stuff.
Really impressive.
It's one thing to win in 36 minutes with an anti